To begin the celebration festivities, we have a very special person who was born and raised in Back of the Yards and someone who is a valuable member of our school community. I'd like to present Mayra Hernandez, owner of the Back of the Yards Coffee Co. and this year's keynote speaker.
My dearest class of 2020, I am so honored and grateful to be able to speak to you on your graduation today. What a weird time to be graduating in, right? Personally, I never thought that I would be your keynote speaker. Second, I never thought that I would be addressing a graduation class with blue and green hair. And third, I never thought I'd be doing this out of my bedroom over the internet. But hey, what's important is that you've made it this far. I cannot imagine what it's like to be a young person living in this world and still be able to have the energy and focus to make it all the way to graduation. Now, the class of 2020 is particularly special to me because you guys were there the moment that a thought became a reality back in 2016 when myself and my business partner Jesse opened up the Back of the Yards coffee house right across the street from your high school. Now, if you're not familiar with the story behind Back of the Yards coffee, let me share a little bit with you. Myself and my business partner Jesse are born and raised in Back of the Yards. So we're familiar with the challenges of what it's like to grow up in a neighborhood that lacks funding and resources. And we wanted to do something about that. So we created a business that would create job opportunities, that would create a safe space to experience art and culture, and most importantly for me, would offer a platform and a voice for us to share a different narrative about our neighborhood. Now, because of all the exciting and new things we were doing, there's a lot of articles and stories that are written about the Back of the Yards coffee house. But there's one story that has not been told. And that is a story about how in the midst of creating Chicago's first Latinx woman-owned coffee company, whose coffee house would become Chicago's most loved coffee place, I suffered through the deepest depression of my life. I suffered from severe anxiety and depression the moment that I started working on the business. In fact, I remember my first anxiety attack. I was inside of a car and I was beating myself up over not being able to complete tasks and meet deadlines that I had set for myself. I felt a lot of pressure, and next thing I knew, I was crying uncontrollably, feeling an impending doom coming over me, and before I could calm myself down, I was gasping for air and trying to voice the words, "What is happening to me?" This continued on a daily basis, sometimes up to 3 to 4 times a day, and it went on for about 3 years. I was very confused because I knew that what I was doing was something important, and I knew that the work I was doing was valuable. But I couldn't understand why I felt so sad and miserable sometimes, especially when people would approach me to congratulate me on the great work we were doing. I wanted to scream and yell, "I'm not okay," but I couldn't find a way to do that. But there was one thing that helped me survive each day, and that was seeing you walk into the coffee house every day after school. It didn't matter if you couldn't buy anything and you were just there waiting for your parents to pick you up or waiting for your friends. Your presence at the coffee house brought me so much life and joy and motivation that you played a very important role in helping me fight each day. Now, thankfully, after taking care of my mental health and going to therapy, I'm in a much better place now. But I'm eternally grateful for you. And now, moving forward, you might have a lot of people tell you that in order to do amazing things, you need to be fearless. But I don't think that's very realistic. Fear is very real. You're going to be afraid. Just like I was afraid every single day. I was afraid that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't smart enough, and that I wasn't brave enough to run a business. Especially as a woman, I felt like all the odds were against me. But when you grow up in Chicago and you grow up in neighborhoods like back of the yards, doing amazing things is going to bring out the deepest, darkest fears inside of you. It's going to bring out all of your self-doubt, and it's going to bring out a lot of unresolved trauma. When you grow up in Chicago and you grow up in neighborhoods like back of the yards, doing amazing things is going to make you so vulnerable that it's going to hurt so much you will want to quit every day. But there is a way to fight through that fear, and that is by believing in your community, creating community. Everywhere you go, create community by surrounding yourself with people who have open hearts and open minds. Because when you are part of a community, you do not have to face this fear alone. When you have a community that supports you, you will find success. And your success will be tied to their success. So thank you, class of 2020, for being my community. Thank you for your beautiful existence that helped me fight day after day. I know you will do amazing things, and I can't wait to see you again. Congratulations, class of 2020.